Okay. Awesome. Welcome everybody to our Classkick workshop with Lisa and Jane. Super excited to have these wonderful teachers. Lisa teaches Spanish. Jane teaches Portuguese and Spanish, Jane, or just Portuguese?
Just Portuguese.
Just Portuguese. And they're joining us from Martha's Vineyard. Super excited to have them tell us about Classkick. Take it away, ladies.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I wanted to clarify that the slideshow that you're getting is exactly, I did a few little tweaks here and there for spacing on things, but today we were looking through and we took the links out that we'll have access to as we're presenting. I took the links out so that we could use the links during the class, but because they attach themselves onto my classes and they actually link to the exact Classkicks that I've been doing it with my classes. I can't, obviously you can't have access to my students' work. But at the very end on the last slide or towards the end, you'll have both of our emails. And if you are looking for any one of these Classkicks that you would like to use or modify or copy and change or any of that for any one of them or any other types, because we do have a lot more, just email, because we can share them and save them and send them by email, and then totally usable and modifiable. Is that a word, modifiable? I guess it is. If not, I just made it up. So we can absolutely do that. Just right now, we'll be looking at examples and looking at Classkick with my links, but you can have access to anything you need. And both Jane and I are super open to sharing anything that we have. And she has some in Portuguese. I have a husband who teaches French and he has some in French. So if you're looking for that kind of example, all three of us have been working. We have another teacher who also works in Spanish. So if you're like, I need something about blah, 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 we might very well be able to find you something that you can already start to use if you're interested. But we wanted to first, before we go into examples, sort of introduce you to what Classkick is, because we discovered it through an ELL teacher. Both Jane and I the same day heard about it. I think she might have mentioned it to me. I looked at it and we both looked at each other through the door and went, OMG, this is like amazing. And we both teach novice students and it can be done with any level, but it really works well with the lower levels just in its because it's so simplistic. And so we immediately started making Classkicks and found that day after day, they were working well. The kids were responding, the kids liked them. And so we have been going gangbusters. We don't use it exclusively, neither one of us, but we found so many different ways of using it. We wanted to then share it with other people because I don't see a lot of information about it. And whenever I mention it, I don't hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, I use that too. So we want to try to get it out there a little bit more. So let's introduce a little bit of Classkick to you.
Lisa, do you want to actually click present just so it makes it nice and big?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm not used to this. There we go. That's why I have Jane here. She's so smart. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and their motto is helping teachers be awesome. And every time I look online, they are really open to people connecting with them. We haven't done so in this pandemic yet. We haven't tried to connect with them on the one issue that we think is a little problematic, which we'll share later. But I know that I see that they talk to people all the time, and so I know that you can easily contact them. So the one thing that we would love for you to get away from this, besides obviously getting to know Classkick, is that you could, if you wanted to, create an assignment in a shortish period of time that you could use tomorrow. And that's what I love about this program, is that you should be able to do this, even though like a one-page thing that you could do as a warm-up, something like boom, 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 done, put it out there for tomorrow. So that would be my goal for you guys today. This is what they say about themselves. Classkick is a free app. Now there is a paid version of it, but it is also free. We've paid for it, so we have multiple classes we can do. There's I don't know what everything that comes with it, but I wanted full reign, so I paid for it. It wasn't very expensive, but it's a free app, so you can definitely use it free. It's in real time, shows teachers in real time exactly what students are doing, which is exactly what it does, and who needs help so they can provide instant feedback. So those are two of the very positive and very helpful things that Classkick does. It's in real time. And so anybody who is doing remote, you want to know what your kids are doing, and you can see them working letter by letter if need be, right? You can watch them type. Okay. Whoop, did I miss one? Yes. So Jane and I have found many more pros than cons. So it is super easy to use. The pages are really easy to design. I am a former graphic designer, and so my tendency is to over design my pages. And you can't with Classkick. That doesn't allow you to, which is one of the really great things about it, is you can't take the time to design your page. You just got to put it down and use colors and other elements to differentiate, and you're done. So I love it for that.
And just to add to that, the real pro for me was, I think we've all during this pandemic had the really just difficult time of trying to figure out how to do speaking, listening, all those kinds of things in hybrid scenarios. And so I really gravitated towards this when I realized how easy you can just use audio and, or not just use it, but have them record it all within the same place. I had been using something called Linked, which I'm not sure any of you have heard of, but when I found this was like the major souped up version of Linked, right? Because you can do so much more with this. So I would say that's the real thing that sold me, was the fact that you can have them do speaking on it, and you can also record, and it can be like a listening for them. So,
yeah, we'll show you some examples of how we worked with that. Again, you can see your students working in real time. We'll show you what that looks like. It's very easy for students to access Classkick, and it syncs with Google Classroom. And we're going to run through like how you create a lesson, and we'll show you what that looks like. And then it has an amazing number of helpful tools. For me, the highlighting, Jane, it was the audio, for me also the audio, but the highlighting has proven to me something so helpful in all of my lessons. Highlighting has become a real helpful tool. It has auto grading features, which Jane has used, but I have not. Student helpers and simple feedback tools called stickers, which we'll just show you a little bit about. And you can explore, like I don't use the stickers a lot, and I don't use the student helpers a lot, but those are available, and they are, depending on what you're doing, they're nice features. Why am I having trouble? Hold on. Oh, I can do it that way. All right. So the cons. So one of the things that we have found a little bit difficult is that kids can make multiple accounts. So we just put that out there. And so I've now, there's a way you can filter that out when you are working with them. So you don't have to look at all those accounts, but sometimes it's hard for them to find where they went. They're going back to a page or a Classkick that you're doing. It's hard for them to find where they were before. So I tell them now, and I will from the beginning of the next year, say, go in as blank. Use your email, use your name, whatever you're going to say, but everybody does the same all the time. And then you won't have problems like that. We realize it's not, we've tried, it's not optimal for collaborative work. So two kids working on one page is really sort of funky, because they don't give the kids names. Their names are not on there. They're like animal names. And so it's almost impossible to partner kids up on a Classkick itself. And embedding videos and audios can be cumbersome depending on what you're trying to do. So you just have to be careful about how you're doing it. So it's not a tool for every single day, every single thing you're doing. So if you're thinking about videos and audios, then slides might be a better use of your time. But that there's only 3 cons is pretty good. What is it good for? Oh my goodness. And this and much more. Homework, we've used it for homework, subplans, blended learning, tutoring. I work with kids. I send them to Classkicks at home. Here, practice this. Synchronous and asynchronous, and both at the same time. So you can have hybrid, and that's a lot of what I do, is keeping all kids in the same place, all at the same time, me being able to see what everybody's doing. You can use it as a flipped classroom. So I use that sometimes, put a little video on there. And then speaking practice. That's one of the big things that we've found is an amazing tool for speaking practice, which is really hard to come by these days. How does it work? So we took this is just off their website, and I just thought it would be good for you just to see how simple it is. You prep an assignment, and we'll show you how to do that. The students work on their devices, and then you give feedback to everybody at the same time. You can actually add at the last minute, you can add things in. You have to be careful how you do that because it's permanent once you add it in and it goes on top of what they're doing, but you can add an extra page if you want and move all the pages. That is something that I've done before. Or you can add, like if you want to put a model and you want in front of them to model the first two, you just put that in there and everybody sees it. It goes straight onto theirs in real time and stays there. So it's one of those very helpful tools that I found. And then the teacher can see everything. And so that's really the gist of what is so phenomenal about this program. All right. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about the toolbar because we are going to run you through one, but and then it's harder to see. These are the tools. So if you're a graphic designer, this is what you got, right? You got your, oh, hold on. So I guess I can't in this mode, Jane, I can't. Hold on, how do I go back up?
Just press your back button maybe, or
Oh, it's the back button. Gotcha.
wait, now forward, hold on.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, so I was going to move all these. I can only do that. I can't do it in present mode. So these are like, you just click it and the page goes in and out, right?
Yep, zoom.
And zoom out. Your tool, here's your pencil. You have a highlighter and an eraser. Those are the three sort of, that's all you got, right? You have a text tool and the text, when you use your text tool, it comes in a couple different sizes. You don't have choices except over here, you can make it bigger or smaller up to a certain point. So you just play within those parameters and you can make lots of differentiation. You can make lines, you can link, you can put photos in, and we'll show you one really cool tool that you can do with that. One really cool thing you can do that. Here's your audio button. So you can create audios and put them in, and they can create audios, both if you can. Jane, what is this? I've never used this before. Do you know?
That is multiple choice. And yeah, I've actually never used it. You know why? Because it takes a long time to design, right? Multiple choice answers.
Yeah.
And nobody has time for that this year, really.
Right.
I mean,
So I haven't used that either. This one is, if you want them to write, you give them a box to write an answer in. This is the box that you use. These are the stickers that you're going to use. I'm not sure what this is either.
that one's important. So the one you're on right there is to manipulate, or wait, is that the manipulative ones? Or did I do it backwards? Shoot, now I can't remember. I think the other one's manipulative.
Okay.
But the manipulatives are huge if you teach level 1, right? Because it's so great for the kids to like drag and drop images, connect with words. I've found that one to be awesome.
Good. Okay, so that's one of the, I'm going to learn from Jane. I'm going to use that one of these days. Stickers, and here is your text tool. You can change the color of both your text, the box, and your line around your box. So and that's it, right? So that's all you have, which is great. And then you can have as far as we can find as many slides as you want on there. I don't think I checked. I don't see a limit to the slides, the number of slides. So let's go. I'm going to get out of this mode, right? How do I get out of this mode? This is, I don't normally do this. So when do I go
Maybe
this
press
way?
escape.
Yeah, press escape. Gotcha. See, that's why Jane is so important. She knows all that stuff and I don't. I'm going to run you through how to do it. Okay, how to get in there. So you just download Classkick. You just open it up. You make yourself an account. So you can get in and can you guys still see my screen right now? Do I need to reshare it? We're good?
We are good.
All right, perfect. So I just open up Classkick. It opens up. Now it might ask me to log in. It's not going to on here, but I have at the very end. So the 4 steps in doing it's just because I was already logged in. And so here you are going to go, you have a front screen that will come up to, and you can see that I have my folders all set. Jane's really good at folders. Like she's the queen at folders and I'm not so queenie at folders. She's a lot more organized than I am. And so you can do it in whatever way you want, but you can put them in folders. You can create rosters. This syncs with Google Classroom, which is another thing that's really great. You just literally in 2 seconds, you have a Google Classroom assignment from it. And I'm not a real big one on going through all the different things that you can do with it. I'm very basic. So I keep it basic. I don't have a lot of time. So I make assignments I keep my rosters from, and they come straight from Google Classroom. If you use Google Classroom, they come straight from Google Classroom, and you just make your rosters. It makes it for you. So if we want to do a new one, all right, we come up here, we've got a plus, we start a new one. This is how long it takes. A new blank assignment. All right, and there it is, right? You've got your pages at the bottom. You've got edit, assign, and view work. So you're going to work in the edit mode. When you have your students in and they're doing work, you're going to go in the view mode. And when you go to assign it, I'll show you how to do that. You're going to assign it. Okay, so you put a name to it. We'll do trial. You can put a description. You can get really fancy and talk about subjects, which I don't do, but you can talk about grades. So this is more if you're organizing them for a school that's working together, or you have more than one level. And you can make it the access private, or you can make it public, shared with your colleagues. And we haven't done that, but we could easily share ours. And then you just have your slides. So if you start designing, right? So you click on slide number 1, there's that toolbar we talked about. And let's say we just want to bring in a photo. So we go upload from the computer, or you can take a picture right from there. If we upload from the computer, it brings me to my files. Let's see. Let's see if we can find one that it doesn't really matter, right? So here, right? Okay, we want this one. So you find what you want, you open it up, and it gives you some choices as you go in. Here, you're going to, here the really cool thing is if you have multiple things on a page, like I really only want to show them 3 of these examples. So you're going to highlight what you want them to see right off of that PDF, and that's what's going to go in. So you can use you can use one page and click multiple things for different pages from it, and just use one page, and you don't have to like cut and paste in the program. You do it right here. And then you
I actually recommend that. I've found it's a time saver. If you, for instance, are finding pictures online and you put them into a Google Doc or whatever, or a slide or something, if they're already all on one thing, when you bring it into Classkick, because then you just use, it's like a snippet tool. So you just snip each, it's just faster than uploading each image.
individual one.
Just as a little, tip.
Yeah, and then here it allows you to put it on multiple pages. So if, like my husband, I was trying to help him do one the other day where he was doing books, and so he just put the book which was the background, on multiple pages. So you click down here and you say, which page do I want it on? In this case, we're just going to put it on page number 1, but it could be on multiple pages. Click. Okay, there we go. So I just want on page 1. So then it's going to ask me to finish it. That's the one I want, and on it goes. Right. So now you've got this file. You can move it around. You can make it bigger or smaller, and you can delete it if you need to. You can twist it around. Right. Like I said, it's basic. So this is what you have. Now you put some text in there. Got text box. So now I'm going to say tenaire. Okay. So I have this tenaire. Now I can make it bigger. Boom, 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 boom. I'm clicking my tool up here. I don't have to, there's no numbers. It's like, it's either one or the other. I bring it to the size I want. I can get really small. I can get bigger. I can make it a color. So I have choices there. And these are the choices I have. There are no more choices. So it's really basic, right? I can highlight it if I want to, and I can make my text white, right? So I can do that. And then when I'm done, I can move it around. I can delete it. I can change the size, whatever I want to do. So now I've done that. So if you want to do an audio, you click an audio. It comes over on the side, and I show the kids how to do this. I also, you'll see on some of mine, I actually made a little graphic, a PDF, and a screenshot of this audio button, and I stick it on there and say, this is where the audio goes. So when they see that, they're like, oh, I have to do an audio. Reminds them. Or sometimes I write in the box, put your audio here, so they like visually see it. So if you start it, you go, oh, blah, 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 I'm in a webinar, this is really great. You stop, and your audio just shows up like that, and you can move it around wherever you want. And the kids can do that too. So that happens with the kids. They do this is exactly what they can do. And so if you want to highlight something, the highlight tool comes down, you can pick a color for the highlight. you can highlight what you want. The only problem with a highlighter is there's no like constrained line. So if you're trying to highlight, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh God, that's not what I wanted to do. I have to erase it. So maybe I have to erase it. My hand is not always steady. So I just erase it, go back, and all right, let's see if I can do better. So on rubrics, I do this. Like if I want to really do a good job, I do the best I can. You can also over here, the line for the highlighter can be changed. The color can be changed. But again, that's about it. That's about what you can do, right? So the nice thing is it's contained. So I can do it pretty quickly. I can erase really quick with my eraser tool. I just click on it and it, oh, that's because that was already there in my PDF. So you can erase really quick. You have to go back to here to do anything. So you've got, and you can move things around. The one thing is once you highlight, if you highlight, so this is something to remember, you just have to remember, if you highlight something and then you're like, oh, I want that box in a different place, the highlight does not go with it. So that's just, you know, I got to remember that. One of those tricks.
And just to clarify, what you do as the teacher does not move on the once the students are touching it, right? So
right, you're in edit right now. So
right.
anything you do in edit is set on the kid's page. They cannot move anything that you put on there. So that means that if you, for example, want to show them something and you add something in, like you've got all your kids watching, you're like, okay, guys, let me just do this one thing. I want to, so like yo tango, to, you know, whatever you, right, whatever you're doing, if I could do that correct, TNAs, if I can spell it right. Now that is, you just did that in an edit mode while your kids are watching you. And that's now permanently on theirs. They can't move it. And if they wrote something there, you've covered up what they wrote. So that's why I say just have to be careful about that. But it's useful if, for example, you want it like this highlighting I did with my kids. The first one I did with them, then it became permanent for them and they could see it. And then they could do the rest of them because we were exploring how 10-air and 10-air-K works. So you just have to remember, again, one of those, you know, those are the tricks of the program that you just have to remember. But then if I do something like that, I just get rid of it and then it disappears off of theirs. But they can't move anything you've put there. It stays permanent. They can listen to your video, however. So that's just a basic. All right. So we're not going to show you all the tools because you guys are going to explore a little bit. But once you're done with this, right, then now you've edited. Now you need to go back and it shows you here, you can do multiple pages. You can add pages here. Once you've added a page, if you want to move that page, you want to move that page, you just hold on to it and move it. And that little line shows you where it's going and you move it. You want to move this page right here. I've got a very sensitive mouse. You just move it and it moves very easily to where you want it to move. And you can move things all around that way. So now, if you were assigned, so we're going to first assign it. So you assign. Now I have a roster, so I'm going to choose of my rosters. Let's see. These guys are going to be like, what are you doing, Ms. Bonneau? You can add the grades in. This is the step where Jane's done a little bit more, but I don't give them grades for my Classkick work. This is all in class or homework or practice. I don't grade them. So I don't use this, but there's a grading system to it. I put on helpers because every once in a while I'll have helpers means they each individually, if they need help on their page, they can put their hand up and either you can go or another kid can go help. So that's the helpers. That's the collaborative piece. It's just you can't put them together as a group, as a partnership. They can find each other. If someone needs help, I'll say, can someone help so-and-so? And one of my students will go help them. If I can't get to them. If someone done with this, can someone go help so-and-so? And they can go on the page and they can actually help them do it. You can hide this and you can lock it. Like if you're doing an assessment, like I'm doing a little assessment tomorrow, where it's practice for a bigger assessment. Once I'm done, I would lock it. Then nobody can do anything more with it. If I'm doing a real assessment that I'm going to grade, I might lock it. And then you've got your class code. So when you're sharing this out to students, you have two choices. You give them a link, or three choices: a class code, a link, or you copy the link. And I do that individually for kids, or if they can't get into Google Classroom for some reason, or you can do it through Google Classroom. And so this opens up your Google Classroom, and literally you just start. Like I'm going to go to
I don't think we can actually see that one for whatever.
You can't see that?
Yeah, it's fine
Oh,
now. I'm
all
sure
right.
they all get it.
Right, so basically this puts you through to Google Classroom, and then you're all set.
It's
And
kind
then
of
when
the same as if you're, going through Quizlet and using Google Classroom that way.
yeah,
So.
exactly. So let's say here's one that I did. Hold on, let me make sure this is one that yeah, so here's one that I did with kids. And I have, so we can look at the work that they did, right? So I had my instructions, and then on the next page, I wanted them to write out some dialogues they were working with. What do you have in your backpack? So now I want to go back and I'm watching the kids work. So I'm going to view work. So now you've assigned it, now you can view it. So now comes up all the kids who have done the work, right? So you can see right here how easy it is to see that someone is writing. You don't know exactly what they've written yet, but you can go through and you can say, these are the students and they're doing their work. I watched them one by one do these, so I can keep track of who's doing it and who's not. I can tell who's still over on page 1 and has not moved off of page 1, and everybody else is on page 4 and this person's still on page 1. I can see that. If I want to view all slides, I view all slides. I'm sorry, if I view just slide number 1, now I can go through and I can look. Hold on, I'm going to turn on my filter because I'll show you this too, right?
Yeah,
You can,
why don't you hide the names?
yeah, you want to hide the name. Yeah, you can
Just
hide
read.
the names, right?
If you were teaching, you wouldn't want to hide the name.
Yeah, exactly. But the filters are, and this is, we have to use these because this is where they put in multiple accounts. I say hi students who haven't started the assignment. I sometimes hide the offline students, the ones who are not there at all. And now when I've played with the filters, I can now get only the kids who have done the work, right? So if I say, now I want to look only at slide number 2, I want to see what everybody's doing only on slide number 2, I can see that, right? So then I can look at everybody's more up close. I can actually see what they're writing. I can go to individual slides. I can toggle through a slide with somebody. I can actually work individually on a slide. So if I say, oh, I want to work with this kid on this slide, I can sit here right now working with them and I can say, here, let me help you. I pull my text tool down. I say, tener. So they can see that. And that can help them if I need to help. I don't have to be with them, but I can still help them while they're working on their file. And then I can either erase it or leave it there, whichever one. So
and
that
just to add to that, I've used it as a way to help, if there's, maybe in a student's IEP, it says that, they can have or need extra supports. I use it as a way for the kids that are remote, especially, right, to be able to jump in and be like, this is the verb chart and let me just drop it in or at least check your answers, make sure that they are correct. So
I sometimes go in when they're working on a fill in the blank. If I'm doing a little bit of grammar check, because I'm required to do that, I go in with my highlighter and I say, just check this one and this one. And so I can so quickly, I don't even have to tell them the right answer. I can just highlight and say, check the ones I just highlighted as I'm going through quickly for all the kids. And that has also been really helpful. That's where the highlighter tool has come into play really well. So once you're done, you can just you have the possibility of looking at any one of the slides or all the slides together. So if you're viewing all your slides, then you can look at all the slides together and you can see your whole class working at the same time. So those are, so that's it. That's in a nutshell. And you can go further and you can do grading for them. You can do other things, but this is in a nutshell, whatever you've created is the way you look at it. And the kids know you're holding them accountable. They know they can get help. They can get help from peers and you. They know you can see it. And that has been probably the thing that has held my kids most accountable in classes, when they know I can see them. And when I personally get to a page and say, look at page 2, let me help you with this. And so it's been just amazing. So then you're done. Once you've assigned it, you're done. That's the amount of time it takes to get something down. You just have to figure out what you want on the page, and that's really the time consuming part. So let me come back here. Are you back here again? Can you see me? A quick tutorial. Jane, am I okay?
Yeah, let's keep rolling.
Yeah. All right, so back here. So then before we move on, because we've got lots of examples, are there any questions? So we've been blah, 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 blah. Are there any questions about anything we've gone over so far that I can help with until, and then we're going to go through some examples.
No, I don't have any questions. It seems pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I say about this is easy and simple. And I'm, you know, because I come from I design everything, like little details. And I'm like, I love it because of that. All right, let's look at some examples then. So I went through all the different modes except for vocabulary. And what I'm showing you here, and I'm not going to go into the actual Classkick unless you tell me, I really want to see that in action, what you're talking about. Then I have a link that I can get to. You have everything but the link in your slideshow. So you have exactly what I'm looking at. So readings, I love readings because I can show the same reading on multiple pages with different tasks. And for my novices, when I break up tasks and highlight and break up tasks, this helps them tremendously to be successful. So I have my directions. Here's my first task where I have done some highlighting on there very simply. They're just looking for AR verbs. And now they're going to do a little bit of a true false. And I also, if you can see down here, make it a little bit larger. No, I guess not. I always have them annotate, so I can highlight in the color I want them to annotate. And I say up here, and I tell them up here, you find the sentence where you found the answer, you highlight with that sentence. So I know that you know where you found the answer. And then there's much more buy-in to do all of them and find a correct answer because they have to go back and highlight. And I require that. And then here's just, I could do the same thing down here. Oh. I could do the same thing down here. I didn't do that. I just did it on the true false. So that's just one that the highlighting comes into play here, and breaking up tasks is really easy to do. All right. So in speaking, this is a really powerful tool for speaking. So first of all, in this one in particular, I had these movable boxes. They had some sentence frames they were working with. This was at the very beginning of I'm going somewhere, I have to do something. And then down here, they had all the different places in the school. This is pictures of our actual school. And they went and first pulled over the verbs that they would do in each of those places. And then we practiced this as a class, and then they went into breakout rooms and did it. And all of this on one page. So they do multiple different things, learning a little bit of vocabulary, making connections between vocabulary and places, then using this as a whole class tool where everybody's speaking, and then being able to do it in breakout rooms with the same exact page. So here's another one I did on family. I was trying to get them to use, was sort of reviewing before we move on and do the last bit of our year, trying to get them to use everything we've already used. So I gave them the one activity, I put in an audio. So now I'm doing what I want them to do. I'm modeling that with this audio, and they can listen to it. And I say, highlight the verbs as you hear them. So as they're hearing, with their highlighter tool, they're highlighting the verbs, and they should highlight all of them because I use all of them in there. But so that's the idea. Then here, I give them a picture. Here's the verbs, and it goes down further. I just gave you a snippet of it. I put in my audio. So I always want them to hear, especially my novice. These are really low novices. I want them to hear what I want them to say. So I always say it first, and then I want them to repeat it within their own words. So they listen to my audio, they stick another one right here. And then at the very end, step number 3, which also talks to scaffolding, they now are going to do their own. But can they go back to page 2 and listen, or back to page 1 and listen? Yeah. That's all on one page. They don't have, they're not like in 3 different places. They're not all in Google Classroom where they have to try to figure out which assignment did I do that. It's all in one place. I can go back and listen here. I can go back and listen here. I can go back and look at what the verbs were. Whatever it is you're doing, they can go back and forth. And I say, use and abuse what you have in front of you, and use it to the best of your ability. And then, so now my recording isn't there. Now it's just theirs. So that's how I scaffold a lot for my novice students. Writing. Here, I'm going to show you the stickers. I don't use these a lot, but this was a great example of it. They had to write 5 sentences, and I gave them this right here. We were using the different articles and vocabulary. And so I went in and I gave a little bit of sort of a writer's workshop type of thing. Because when they're not here, this is super hard to do. This is really difficult to give writer's workshop feedback, or even just feedback on writing that is visual enough for them to follow. And so these stickers, when you create a sticker, you can call it what you want it to be. So I put the sort of common mistakes, and then I would put it over here and highlight, and they went back and changed it. So they can get rid of my highlighting and get rid of the sticker when they want to. And so when they're done, they get rid of the stickers, changed it, and they had text that was all fixed. It's harder to do on a thicker text. On simple sentences that you've left a little room for, the stickers work, because this is the size they are. They don't get smaller than that. But it's still a really cool way of giving feedback.
It is great for the quick feedback though. So, and just as a Portuguese teacher, you know, you don't always find all the stuff already made in Portuguese. You kind of have to have your own. So it's really cool for that, because then you can put in whatever you want it to say. So.
Right. Yeah, I customize these spelling. There's my del, my star. I customize them for this particular assignment.
And as silly as it is, they still love stickers, even if they're
They do. They
real.
do.
So.
Yeah. Even my honor students do, and they're like a little more stuffy than my C1s. Okay, listening. So here I did this sort of towards the beginning. This was one of the first ones I did, and I was like sold, because this is one, impossible to do when you're remote. And when I did this, I used this, I described the people, right? And they marked and 1 through 10. And I said, I have to be able to read your number, right? So it was easy for them to mark up. They could do it. They did it in so many different ways. They used their text tool. So they found the ways. They're smart. They found the ways to do it. This person did it with numbers, and I was able to totally read their numbers. Maybe not this one. Maybe I had to figure out what this one was. And then I said, now take 2 of them and describe them. And they threw an audio on there. And so in one assignment, you can always add an audio at every turn. And Jane and I do that a lot. We're like, you're finished with those sentences, read it in, make an audio, because that's what we're missing the majority of, is like how to get them to speak. And just the practice speaking. That's with my novices was so difficult, and has been really difficult. This is one way. And you can, when you have your whole class in front of you, you can see those audios pop up on there, and you're like, okay, you did it, you did it, you did it. Okay, so-and-so, Jan, you're not doing your audios. What's up? Was there a problem? And Jan can say, no, I'm doing them just right now. And so you can have that back and forth, and they know that you're on top of it. So they're going to do it, most of them. So I thought this was also really helpful. One of the first ones I did, and I was one of the things that sold me on it. So here's grammar, this poor dog trying to figure out the grammar. I do grammar. I try really hard to keep it contained, and I love it on here because I can set up a chart. I can do exploration with highlighting, and then this is one page 1, page 2, page 3. And I do page 1, I watch them do it. Then we do it together. And so I'll write on top of this, and then I'll erase them. Like I'll say, did you get this? Did you get this? Did you get this? And then I'll erase them because I'm writing on top of theirs, but at least they can say, yep, that's what I got. And then to the next one, we can have a conversation, we can highlight, I can erase, we can highlight. And that was sort of an exploratory piece on Tener and Tener K. And then they can go straight into doing some sort of worksheet, whether you do that or not, if it's helpful. And here I had them go through first. And this was my model, go through and highlight, where's their verb? Like you have to have a verb in order to use Tener K. So where are the verbs? And they went highlighted the verb. So then they had that visual that helped them figure out the difference between the two. Not that it still wasn't a really difficult thing for them to do, and they had trouble with this, but at least it was a visual tool for my visual learners to say, oh, I see a verb, Tener K, and put those two things together.
So just to jump into, this is an area, like, oftentimes in teaching a language, there's not a correct answer, but obviously with grammar there is usually, or at least in this case of conjugating verbs. You can, when you use one of the dotted box, when you use that tool to make a spot where they can put in an answer, you can actually put in correct answers so that it, like auto corrects, or not auto corrects, auto grades. You can have the students see the correction or not, or see the grade or not. So depending upon how you set it up. But you can also put in more than one correct answer, which I've been doing because it's been very difficult with Portuguese teaching how to do accents on, everybody's different device. And so I found that was helpful. And not that I use the auto grading more as a, like an alert. like, because it does actually change colors. If somebody's got a fairly decent grade, it's green. If it's like very, there's lots of errors, it'll show as red. And it's sort of like, oh, oops, something's going on there. And so it's more as from the teacher view, that kind of like bird's eye view of the whole class. You can then go ahead and just like jump towards somebody who is maybe definitely not getting, getting things. So I found that really helpful.
Quick question about auto grading. Does it let you go in and like override an auto grade?
Well, so you can see it. So you can do, whatever you want. Like I don't, the grading, it's not synced with a grade book, right? So it's not like I'm just, you still have to put, or at least for us, we have to put those grades into something that matters. It's more just to see, right, are they really getting it? With that said, you absolutely could transfer those grades over, but that's when you're going to see, whether it was like a real error or just like a missing an accent or somebody inverted, 2 letters or something. So.
I wanted to ask, we have like 10 minutes left, Alyssa, right? Something like that. I wanted to I've got a lot of other examples, but you have the slideshow and it's sort of just different examples of the same thing. But I also wanted to ask if you wanted to stop now and have 10 minutes to just play on your own for a minute in Classkick and try to create something, or whether you wanted to see more examples. So I want to get a feel for that from you guys. What do you guys think? What would be most helpful? Because we can do the component where you're just going in and practicing, and we are looking, we can help you if you get stuck somewhere so you can at least get started, or we have more examples.
You could throw it in the chat too if you want. Either way.
I'm open, whatever, either way is good. It's a good experience. So
Lisa, maybe just quickly, like really quickly, we could go through the last, little bits.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because 10 minutes is not a long time, but let me go through really quick, and then you'll also know what you're looking at. And also Jane and I, we have our email at the end, totally are free. You can email us. We'll send you anything you want or help with anything. So that's also, you need to know that, and that's at the very end. Okay, so let me go back to this. Okay, so here, one of the things I thought that was actually really, really helpful is moving from one mode to the other in your document. So like this is a listening that I did with my honor students, and here they do the same exact flip over and they're doing the audio. But I just did it over here again, because it's one page after the other, so easy to see what's already been done and go back to it, and so it's good support and transitions.
quick question.
Yeah.
So everything that is here, like you have to create yourself. There's no like a library where you can copy or borrow some of the material from other teachers?
I don't think so. That's and I think I said this earlier when not everybody was here. Jane and I are happy to share, and we have 2 other teachers that use this.
You know what? There might be.
There might be. I don't know.
I think there is. I just honestly, like, I think I probably looked once and knew for Portuguese there was nothing. So
there is one. I found it. Again, ADD. I'm doing 8 things.
Yeah.
And it had one thing for French. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Jane, of like, all right, cool, I'm gonna make my own, but there might be Spanish ones.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that I cater so much to what I'm doing, and I use the pictures that I want. I've chosen them for a reason, and I reuse pictures. So and it's actually not like it's so simple to put together and so quick to put together that I find it's sometimes harder to find something than to just create it really quick.
Yeah.
But there might very well be. And if we have anything that you see here, you're like, oh, I could really use that, I'm totally happy to send it.
I'll just add for you too, if you have something in a Google slide that's already made, but you want to make it accessible to your remote kids or something, you can, instead of uploading an image, you could upload the slides, and then it's already, or if you just like creating things in slides better than you like creating here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a feature that's really nice too.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and I think we all create so many different things. I think any tool of that sort is really important to know. That's that's good.
Especially because of what we're saying, like I find when my students are working live on Google Slides, like there's so much clicking and it's way clunkier for the teacher to like check in. Obviously on Classkick, Lisa, maybe you can like move a few slides, but the view of that the teacher sees is so much nicer.
Right here.
For really giving, yeah, like see how the background, like you can really see it actually highlights which slide the student's on. You can't really tell now because there was no students on there actively, but when they're active, you can tell which one they're on. And so it's just so what Angela was saying there, if you have something already pre-made, you can just zoop, move it over. But it's really that live piece that's so much nicer, and the ability to give feedback, individual feedback. So.
Right. I've used things with rubrics. There was one. So I did a speaking, and at the very end, where's the rubric is hidden here. So the rubric is here. So here, like at the very end of it, I stuck my rubric in there, and they had clear and concise feedback, as well as right away. Like I can do it that same day, I can do it as they're doing an assessment, or I can do it the next day, and it's just at the end of their Classkick. I did the same thing for, why am I having trouble? For this one, and this one was, I sometimes use the ODE rubrics, and I won't show you how to do it, but you can just take your highlighter tool, put it on the largest setting, and you can go click, click, whoop. I just clicked and went, did something else. Hold on. It's just gonna open it up right now. That's so funny. So you can click on each of the boxes, and it makes it so easy. And then they have it right in front of them, which rubrics were the hardest things for me too. Like, how do I get them a rubric when they're remote and I have to individually send it? I wasn't going to do that.
And you can give each slide a score. So like each slide can have a grade. And if you're going to use a rubric, I just make the little box 100. Because then when you're looking through the views later to like put it into, again, a different grade book, because I feel like most of us have that. It's very easy to see, and you can organize the students in alphabetical order so that it just is like, it's just easy to see their score. They can also see their score that way if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can you can convert the grades on the top of the slide so they can see it. This is so Jane does this is what she was talking about here. You can see the orange to the green to the orange to the red is the indicator of how they're doing on the fill-ins with the grades, so that you can at a glance, without, you've got little, you can't see exactly what they're writing here, but you can know that they're getting either all the right answers, or they're struggling a little bit, or you got to go help this one down here. They're really struggling down here. And then I'm actually going to start using this. When I saw this from Jane, I was like, okay, that is a phenomenal tool. I'm going to start using that a little bit more.
Another thing too is just like how I like colors, obviously. I don't know, it keeps me awake maybe, or I don't know. I just like the different colors, but it's also, I've found, is helpful, because then you can be like, no, the red slide, go to the red one, or, just whatever. No, that's on the yellow, or go back to green. So it's just another way, to differentiate.
Two different looks. Yeah. And here Jane was just showing this, the use of the
and so
stickers.
this is, I was just going to say here, it's when you use like I was using the stickers, when they got them all correct, I would give them their sticker. And so you can actually be like, no, you go back. If you want your sticker, you got to go back, do that one more. Oh, you have one, and I use the highlighter. Oftentimes I use the highlighter just on the number. I mean, in this case, it's just one blank, but like if there was something else wrong with their sentence, or, I don't want to just like blatantly give it away where the error is, but you can kind of just like click on the number, and then the eraser tool, you just go back and unclick. So once they've corrected it, you take away whatever it is that you had put on there. So.
Yeah. All right. So these are directions, just really simple directions how to get in. If you need to from the get-go. So when you first get on, you're going to do this. So I tried to get it so that you could go straight through and then start designing. So that will be helpful. That's on the slideshow. And then here's our email addresses. So please feel free to contact us at any time. We are happy to help you in any way that we can.
And we'd love to hear from you guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've done something, we could, and you've got something you want to share, please, because we're always looking for stuff too. All right, and Alyssa, you've got the next slide. Oh, hold
Let
on.
me unmute here.
Yeah. Sorry, I got out of it.
That's okay.
There we go.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. I know a couple of teachers at my school use Classkick, and I can see now why they're super excited about it. And I love your enthusiasm. Just a little upcoming program from us here at Idioma. Our first summer session starts May 17th. We have lots of new courses in target language, methodology and pedagogy courses, and we're starting general education courses this summer. We would love if you can share our website and share our course catalog. I will share some links with you in our email tomorrow, talking about the really exciting things that we have to offer this summer. For example, there's an IEP development for a special education teacher. So if you've got teachers in your district that you know could benefit from that, which we all have special education in our schools ideally. So that can be really helpful, especially for recertification. Classroom and behavior management, that's helpful for everybody. Methods and materials for differentiation. There's so many new classes this summer. First session starts up May 17th. We're really hoping to get more students in those sessions. We realize the end of the school year can be a little bit tricky, but you know how quickly, once you get over that like school year rush, and then it's like, oh, now I have some time. So that first session, like I said, May 17th, and then the second session starts up July 5th through August 15th. They're 6-week sessions. I'm teaching 2 of them, I think, at the second session, 2 French
Oh
ones.
my
Yes.
goodness, Alyssa. That's a
Oh
lot.
no, it's fine. I love it. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Can you go to the next slide for me, please, Lisa? And then we have our Summer Institute. It's completely virtual again this year. Hopefully next year we'll be able to be in person again. But the nice thing is, Anna, over in California, you'd be able to attend pretty easily since we're all virtual. Our theme this year is back at the core of it too. Last year's theme was back at the core of it. We're exploring more high leverage teaching practices for institutional success and proficiency development. Lots of really fun sessions going on in there. They're usually fairly small, so it turns out to be more like a workshop. All of our session leaders are incredibly knowledgeable, practicing educators. We have so much fun doing it. This is really a labor of love. But
This isn't, by the way, really amazing. This was really great last year. Both Jane and I and my husband went.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, and I got to teach a session a couple years ago with Pierre, with your husband in it.
Exactly.
It was really fun to have him in there. We were doing arts integration, which is one of the courses that I teach for French. There's an awesome Spanish conversation course that Dr. Michael Orlando is teaching here in our first summer session, May 17th. He and I just wrote that course, and I'm doing the French one in July. He's doing the Spanish one. Super exciting. It's all spiraled down from the AP themes. So super, super easy to integrate into your curriculum, and super fun course to be able to sit and chit chat with some of your colleagues. And
I'm going to do that one.
Language. Oh, good. Oh, Lisa, I'm so excited. Yeah.
Just have to sign up for it. That's all.
Yes, please sign up for it. We usually have coupons floating around, so you can always shoot me an email if you're looking for a coupon. I'll see what I can dig up for you. That's it, I think, from the love it if you would find us on social media. Lisa, I think there's one more slide with our social media info. Thank you. It's fun to have somebody else.
I don't know if I email you or it was somebody else. Basically, like you in Portuguese and French, I teach Spanish, but I teach for native and heritage speakers.
Wonderful.
And I find it very hard to find material, any resources and stuff like that. So if you find something or any training or anything, please.
I think the conversation class would be really, I mean, I don't know, even just to get ideas for what you could talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I think
absolutely.
That's one of the things that I teach novices, but still it spirals down and spirals up, and it's getting the ideas of like, what are the themes and what kind of vocabulary could you use? And I'm looking forward to that. That might be one aspect or one thing. There's lots of Spanish classes that they take up at the upper levels, like a writing class and reading. There's novels. I know that Mike Orlando is also doing a Don Quixote, which you might be interested in for your classes. because you might be able to use those types of materials or that book or whatever he's working with in your class. So you might look at what the upper level sort of Spanish idioma classes are that you could pull over material for them.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. Anna, I'll send you a curated list of courses that I think might be helpful for you. We could also talk about some workshop opportunities with you and with your district so that, you know, a lot of districts in New Hampshire, I don't know that we have that opportunity to have, and in Massachusetts to have as many heritage classes. And so we would love to help design something for you if we don't have something available right away.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Lisa, I think there's one more slide.
Okay.
Here's
so much for your time.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Anna. We're so happy to have you over from California.
I don't see it.
Oh, that's okay. It's just the social media one. You guys will get that in the email tomorrow. So
okay, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So look for an email from us. Look for an email from me saying, thank you so much for joining. And here's I'll send you the slideshow again, Jane and Lisa's emails, upcoming idioma stuff. If you're looking for anything specific too, if you know your district is really looking for some serious proficiency training, or like Anna, if you're looking for more targeted courses toward higher level heritage speakers, or you know, just whatever you're looking for, we can build that for you, and we can work with your district to make that happen. And if you get your whole district involved, you get lots of teachers involved. We always have special pricing options for that also. So please reach out. Let us know what we need, what you guys need, and how we can help provide that for you. That's what we do, and that's what we love to do best. It's not about getting canned courses out there to as many people as possible. It's about getting the right educators what they need. And that's you guys, that's our community. So,
all right, and we wanted to say, both Jane and I'll say it first and Jane can say it. Thank you so much for coming. And if there's any other questions, we're happy to stay if you need any other questions, or our emails. But thank you so much for taking your time.
Thank you, everyone. And just also, I'm signed up for 2 more courses, one in the both sessions. So I'm going to do the high leverage teaching practices again too. So in case you want to join us.
Yeah, we're going to have fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, thanks, guys.